how close the charge got
nice
to
on
the
Decay.
point. So better to have that barrier and be able to play just on either side of the point and step on to prevent the contest there from the charge.
Self-destruct trying to zone out charge again. It does put Chara in a position where the Gladiators can finish him off. He had to run from the self-destruct and had to go around the corner for the rest of his team.
Oh, no.
Ooh, lucky break there, man. That's a shot a lot of Widowmakers would have hit.
You're going back down, Happy.
Yes, he is.
There will be no escaping to the other side of the void, says Biggoose.
You have only grappled death.
Here we go, Noah. 20 seconds until a full hold by the Gladiators.
It's really looking that way as the Charge are on their last legs here. A few ultimates coming online. Happy is actually swapped over to the Hanzo now for a last-ditch effort barrage of arrows. Shaz nearly has that nano boost, though. And the Gladiators, if they can just hold it together for just a bit longer, they're going to take a strong 2-0 lead in the series. Minefield used by Rio. Charge trying to get a little bit more. Oh, Shaz! He's down to use the nano boost.
This is looking really good for the Charge right now. Just a couple more to clean up. Hotba coming in.
There we go. And it was Happy just taking names on that Hanzo. Saw it on the kill feed to set up Hotba for that barrage. And now they're going to make some quick swaps before they go after B. Yeah, that was really the last-ditch effort from the Charge coming through finally in the end. And you got to give a lot of credit to Happy on that Hanzo.
Look at that interesting swap coming in as well. Guangzhou Charge. Yeah, this Hanzo, absolutely the right call. If you can make plays like that one, and you're in desperate straits in overtime.
Brutal.
The execution.
No. It's easy to shoot the goose when it's on the ground.
The goose was not loose.
No. Goose is anything but loose. Kept trying to go for the hack onto Roar. Rio and Guangzhou Charge charging in onto point B here, and Gladiators caught a little bit unawares. The ultimate's not up for the Charge, but they don't need him. They're just going on pure aggression right now. Can they get the cleanup, though? It would be crazy for them to take B at this point.
Graviton was used by Decay to solo grab Chara, and he didn't get the elimination thanks to the Ana healing.
Super fast coalescence for Shaz, pushing Charge back. A lot of low health members there. There's a Shatter coming in, but Roar gets Happy with the Fire Strike right before he gets knocked down. Goose does throw out the sound barrier, and Gladiators starting to stabilize here on B. A close call. 76% of the point taken by the Charge, but they do get sent back to spawn.
Yeah, still really good ultimate economy, though, for the Charge on this reset.
Oh, yeah.
You'll notice what they did was they put Happy, who normally plays the Zarya, onto the Brigitte because Kib had the EMP. They got a lot of value out of that EMP, 2 ticks, and Hotbuzz going to be the one on the Zarya right now. This is where Guangzhou has an excellent opportunity to clean this up, though. There's no Zenyatta. There's no support ultimate that is going to save them.
Yeah.
Void has to have just a massive eat here or a counter self-destruct. Maybe counter self-destruct and Shatter can save them.
If you can win the fight, you're going to have a decent time bank yet. And a boost onto Rio. He gets a shield up in time to block the self-destruct. Roar down, as is Hydration. Gladiators not able to keep their tanks up, and this is exactly what the Charge needed to try to at least get a good amount of time in the time bank here. Not going to be able to equalize the Gladiators, but they can finish it now, and they do. Nearly 2 minutes remaining. It's not bad.
That was well played by the Charge. Gladiators, that was going to be such a hard defense with the ults the way they were.
Oh, yeah.
And Charge able to just push through, get that final tick.
That's right. We are going to extra innings now. Gladiators with a lot more time in the time bank, but Charge has a chance. Guangzhou Charge coming to life at the end of that last attack, taking A and then taking B in fairly short order. 1:51 for them in the time bank. Obviously, that pales in comparison to the 4:25 the Gladiators have, but I'm just saying, they got a chance.
They do have a chance.
Charge has a chance.
I mean, we've seen good moments already in this match from the Charge. It's just weird that they can oscillate so quickly between almost getting full held and then having like a very good understanding of how to close point B with their ultimate economy advantage.
Yeah, best worst team in the league right now.
I mean, it was a good swap, right? To just keep Kib with the EMP on that Sombra, but switch Happy and Hotba over to roles that they haven't played a ton of on this roster.
They're not wasting any time with those swaps this time around. Happy starting out with the Hanzo, but the pressure early from the Gladiators. One tick taken though. There's a back cap going on from the charge.
They gotta go, and they're gonna leave this Brigitte behind too, which is really problematic for them.
Yeah, the Gladiators getting all strung out as they try to go back towards the point. Some of those supports not able to quite keep up as easily.
How did that Brigitte live? How did Hydration actually make it back right there?
I don't know.
I thought I saw him at like 1 HP. Maybe they called that somebody else was going to kill him, but that could have been finished, I think, by Hotba.
Super-powered shield bash, perhaps. Meanwhile, Gladiators trying to get a little bit of purchase on the point here.
Yeah, they're trying, but it's going to be difficult. I see Rio.
Yeah.
Coming back right now with the Wrecking Ball, trying to put that pressure on once again.
Hotba has a barrage ready to go. Oh, but Decay finishes him off. A lot of pressure coming in from Void as well on that one. And Happy, you do not want to be there, buddy. Uppercut from Roar to end his life. Now, Charge, one more attack is all they've really got, but they've got ultimates to use.
Yeah, stagger pretty bad too.
Ooh,
they did,
but
here's the trade they made was they gave Kib about 10% more ult charge to get a longer stagger. So we're gonna see if that was actually worth it.
I don't know, man. I mean, Sombra gets back to the point really quickly. I mean, look at that. Kib already there. Shu waiting for a chance to put that nano boost perhaps onto Hotba. Somebody's got to touch the point. Nobody touched the point. That happened. That just happened. Look at Charge's ultimates right now. They had a great chance to try to take that, and nobody touched the point.
I mean, it is hard to touch the point when you are running the Wrecking Ball. If he got booped off the point, then no one else would have been attempting to because they're running all these DPS and supports, right? So you're not going to survive.
Yes.
But, yeah, it's rough. What else are you going to say? It's rough.
Ooh. We get another look at that one to see exactly how that went down, but that is definitely not the result that the Charge were looking for. Now they have to full hold for 425 because the Gladiators only need one tick at this point, or a little over one tick rather.
Yeah, let's take a look at what happens right here. I mean, I think so he touches it. He should have, I think they thought they were in the window because it was right at 5 seconds. So what happened was he stepped off of it right before 5 seconds, like maybe like 0.1 seconds.
Yeah.
So they thought it was going to trigger overtime, but they were just like very slightly off. That's actually a forgivable mistake from the Charge. Like that looked like it should have been able to trigger the overtime, and you could completely understand why they thought it would.
Well, playing with fire. The Charge, they got burned there. Now a lot of time for the Gladiators to take just 57.1%.
Yep, still a chance for Guangzhou to win this map, though.
Sure, yeah. If they do defend, they will win because they did at least get a little bit over one tick. Pressure onto Decay as he gets pushed back here a little bit. Shaz down early, though, so good start for the Gladiators.
Yeah, they're just going to run in right now while they're all grouped up into this room. Decay has a lot of charge, so they got to be careful. He's at 100.
Yeah.
You have to be cautious about how you approach this. And besides, Guangzhou can just keep them there, and then they're going to be able to have a chance to make a play onto Shaz. Shaz has switched to the Moira because he knows he's just never going to get there as a Zenyatta through that choke point and over to the rest of his team. But if he has Fade, maybe he can.
Yeah, if you're separated from your team like that, you're never going to make it as Zen. Just floating in there. Goes in now. Tifa's raising her APM. That's good news. Oh, Rio down, though. The damage came in, and now the Gladiators getting to fight that 5v6. Decay even taking a nap. In the meantime, that's so much healing coming out of Moira, too. Her heal did get a little bit of a buff, too, in the patch for this one. Chara down, and the Gladiators just hemorrhaging players, or Charge rather, just hemorrhaging players right now. One tick taken already. There's a grab from the Gladiators. Happy's grab gets eaten by Void even. And that should be about it. LA Gladiators will go up 2-0 in this series.
Gladiators, pretty dominant win there. Charge
made
it a match by pushing through quickly on B, but they can't get a fast enough again, and Gladiators already up 2-0.
Couple crucial mistakes cost them halftime when we come back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
Everybody, Malik here with Brandon Sideshow. Wow, it's like we went to a void just now. That was awesome. All right, guys, so the game so far a little closer than expected. The Gladiators, however, are up 2-0. Decay's been popping off. What were you guys' big takeaways from the first half?
Understanding the Gladiators are going to be the favourites in this matchup here between the two teams. Yeah. It's been hard to get a grasp on where Guangzhou are really standing right now because, again, they've just been playing against such difficult teams.
They've been slammed.
Exactly, yeah. So it hasn't been too pretty, but it has been an even game, honestly, between these two teams. There's been moments where Guangzhou could have turned it.
Yeah.
I think there was a moment in the first map that we're going to see they could have turned this one around just a bit more clever ult usage.
I think overall, the first map, even on balance, maybe should have gone towards Guangzhou. Despite the fact that Gladiators stomped the first round at the beginning, they charged, came back into it, they played a fairly good triple tank, triple support. It looked like Rio was getting well supported, they were using their ults relatively well, and it went the full 3 rounds, and in the final round, okay, it ends up with the charge not being in a position to really capitalize and take advantage. Just messed up their ults a little bit, but overall, I think this comes back to the point that we kept making on these watch point shows before and after the matches, which was that the Charge are not a bad team.
Right.
This is not the worst team in the league, despite the fact they've only won 1 out of their last 22 maps. I mean, that's brutal, but that makes it seem a lot worse than they actually are. But they've just been playing good teams, and unfortunately, even when they play really close games, like that first one on Lijiang, if you don't come away with a win, it doesn't go on the board, and there you go.
And that's an aspect that we need to consider as well, is the mental state of this team. You know, they are the youngest team in the league on average. These guys are coming off the back of all these wins. That is going to affect you, and until you get out of that slump, I mean, if they won that first map, who knows where they could have gone? Like, that could inspire confidence in them.
Well, they got a little bit of momentum in Anubis. They actually were able to cap the points, and they were able to they send things into time bank phase. I think that's a step forward.
It is,
in a sense, because I mean, these guys have lost 21 straight maps.
Yes.
What do you guys think?
And well, having said that, I mean, the last map that the Guangzhou Charge actually won, I think, was against the Gladiators as well.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's another little interesting tidbit for you. But overall here, I think the Gladiators put a stonker of a time down on offense and then nearly full held the charge.
Put a what? A what?
A
Say that?
stonker.
I've
And that's
never
stonker.
heard
No?
anyone use that word.
No, it's a fantastic British word. Use it at home. And
I love
everyone
it.
will look at you very strange.
I'm gonna take that one.
Okay, a fantastic time. There you go. Look, they still had over 4 minutes left on the clock by the time they capped. And then Charge almost got full held here, but then managed to clutch it out at the end. So there
beautiful.
are still some issues
Oh,
with
that was so good.
Charge. And they just don't look as tight as these teams like the Gladiators and obviously the top three. I mean, look at this. It's in overtime and they require a 3 or 4K by Happy, I can't even remember what, and then an insane barrage by Hotbird to be able to look at the movement here. I mean, that is beautiful.
And
Getting behind the shield.
The one thing I've seen from the Charge is they actually rely on their individual players and their mechanical
Calm down,
abilities
calm
quite
down.
a bit. You know?
Telling Hotbird to calm down, flinging his mouse everywhere.
Yeah, I know, right?
But Guangzhou are a team where they've got all of these talented players a lot of the time, and sometimes they do have to rely on that to get those wins. Like you just saw there with Happy trying to clutch up for them to even cap the point in the first place. So this is a reoccurring problem, it seems, for Guangzhou. And, you know, as I said earlier, it's tough for them. You know, they're in this slump, they're in this mental state of mind right now where they can't quite break through. And it's a difficult scenario because, you know, Gladiators are not a bad team. We're having discussions about this being potentially a top 4 team right now.
Yeah, that's pretty difficult to tell, right? Because
Yeah.
Dallas came out and just looked really good, but we'd never seen them play before, so they might be able to contest for that spot. There's a couple of other teams up there, but we're thinking Gladiators are kind of sat on top of the pack that isn't the top 3 kind of gods of the Overwatch League right now.
Either way, it seems like that they have their strength of schedule has been nuts so far. The Charge.
Yes.
All right. So moving on, we all know that the Charge have lost 21 straight maps, and the next map is Blizzard World. What do the Charge need to do in order to get back into this game?
Do you want to try?
Somber Goats.
Okay, I wasn't even going to suggest something particular to do with the strategy. I
Right.
think it comes down to making decisions faster than the LA Gladiators do. I think this team looks best when they're making quick decisions and playing a little more aggressively. And something that I tend to notice over the course of the Charge games is that when they get in their own heads, they start to play a bit more passive, a bit safer, and end up just kind of backing off. And
Literally saw that on Lijiang.
Yeah.
Case point, Lijiang was they had an opportunity to win it, but they just kept playing passive and passive and passive.
Yeah, so I want to see them invigorated after the half.
Yeah.
I want them to come out with the confidence that they actually can take this. And remember that there were some moments there that were close in those beginning games. And if they come back in with that kind of confidence and play like they're confident, they could still take this.
Can they get by on this like isolation gameplay where they have one player who just makes like a big play and then that's it?
Not in this meta. No, you need a bit more than that. I think New York have proven that, Shock have proven that, Titans have proven that. If you want to be classified as a top team, you can't rely on that individual skill like you could in the past. So yeah, I mean Guangzhou, we know they got the talent there. We know that they are. I consider them a good team. You have disagreements on that?
I think they're like a mid-table team, maybe slightly underneath, but they're still reasonable and better than their map record would show.
All right, well, the Gladiators are currently up 2-0. Can the Charge back into this match? We're going to find out in just a bit. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Gladiators with a 2-0 lead coming out of the half. And Guangzhou Charge, you know, we saw the halftime crew kind of speculate a little bit about what they can do, but it's looking pretty tough across the board on the Charge side, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's just a consequence of facing these top-tier teams. What do you say? Gladiators looked really good right there. I love the way Decay played on Anubis, and I love the way his team played around him as well. I think especially on some of those point A defenses, when the rest of his team was dead, you can really tell the Gladiators have an idea of what they need to do to win, because they're willing to commit resources like Sound Barrier, like Nano Boosts onto Decay in situations where they're down a couple of players on the point, and just trust him that he's going to be able to have the power to really carry them through. And guess what? He did.
That's right. And guess what? You also have a chance to watch him again in the match of a week tomorrow at 5:15 Pacific time. The battle for LA Valiant versus LA Gladiators. Obviously, the Gladiators, big favorite going to that one.
Yeah.
But if you remember back to these matches last year, they seem to always manage to play it close no matter what the teams or where the teams are at in that particular stage. So I hope we still get a good series tomorrow anyway.
I hope we do too, Noah, but I think it's probably just going to be the slaughter of the week instead.
We've had a couple.
We have had a lot of
slaughter. It's been a
that's true.
slaughter-filled week, hasn't it?
It has. It's been a massacre here at the Overwatch League. And
Corn would be pleased. Many skulls for the skull this week, that's for sure.
It may continue right now, unfortunately, for the Guangzhou Charge. Gladiators now on match point here.
And we go to Blizzard World. Gladiators on the attack to start things off. They're going to go, perhaps, they're going to change things off, or they take a look at it. I would imagine Chaz is not going to stay on the Bastion. Maybe. There we go. Okay. All right. Some swaps over to the Reinhardt 3-3 now. Against Guangzhou's Reinhardt 3-3, and why not, right? You don't have to try to break a hardpoint comp or anything like that, so just do what's been working.
They're going to switch it up. They should have confidence, I think, in the mirror based on the matches that we've seen so far. Slow approach here. Roar going to move in with the bubble. The bubble's down now.
Yep.
On the side of the Gladiators. They start to get Decay up there in terms of energy.
Yeah, they've been so good at getting Decay supercharged up and then running in with a ton of damage. Kim taking a lot there, and Happy down already. How in the world did they find a kill into Happy that quick? I mean, honestly, it has been, for the majority of the fights in this series, Happy and Rio going down first.
Yep. Has been. I mean, the pressure on that front line has been absolutely huge, and that's one of the adjustments I think the Gladiators have been making, too. They really like to play the tank wars as a team and just sort of walk at you and put maximum pressure on your front line.
So let's watch that one again.
Ooh.
Yep, it's a nice fire strike, as a lot of the members of the Guangzhou Charge were very low health. Speaking of low health, Roar loses all of his, so the Charge will be able to hold a little bit here.
Yeah, they overcommitted to a D-Mech there.
Yeah.
Hotba was low, and they decided now was the time to pursue. Doesn't make that much of a difference, though, considering that the cart was still coming out, and they have those close respawns, so not a lot of distance lost on the payload.
Pretty much. I think Guangzhou Charge needs somebody to jump in that siege tank in the background.
That'd be handy right now.
That might help a little bit. Chara, really low. Close call there. They used a couple ultimates. Rally, Shatter went down as well from Rio. And Decay, so charged up. He's just going to burn through that shield from Reinhardt so fast. Grab used. They actually caught a couple of them. Caught Happy, caught Chara, and Happy. The kill on Happy is really the important one there. Again, like we've said so many times, that's where most of your damage is in the 3-3.
Absolutely is. Happy going to be coming back. The Graviton of his own, though. Chaz been saving up his Transcendence for this very moment. That's just a great decision, right? Because you get two players on the retreat. You get a lot of payload movement. They don't get to use their Trance in an efficient manner. Decision-making from this Gladiators team just gets better and better.
Wow. Very optimistic Shatter used by Roar there. They do force Charge off of the high ground. Now Chara, no protection for the Lucio. And once again, Decay finds another victim.
Hey, basically perfect tracking there.
Oh, yeah. He's so good. It's insane. Chaz pops a Transcendence. Lodzo's coming out from the Charge right now. Self-destruct doesn't find anybody, but the other members of the team do.
Rio setting up a good play there by initiating with the Charge. And now you do see a regroup here from the Gladiators. Pushed almost all the way to point B, though, so they're one fight from getting that objective.
What is in that coffee cup? It's a galaxy.
Is that what's in there?
I don't want to drink a galaxy. That's like countless worlds, trillions of lives imbibed.
I mean,
That's
you're
not
assuming
right.
there is life in that galaxy.
Well, I mean, probably. Somewhere. Decay pushes forward. Got the grab. I'm not saying it's aliens, but aliens. That Gladiator's wasting no time. And running right into the charge again. They do wait out the sound barrier, though, before they push forward again. Kib with the rally. Gladiators buying their time. There it is. The grab comes in now. An easy set of kills come out for the Gladiators. That was so well executed. They were so patient, waiting out the support ultimates from the charge and then hitting him with the grab, and there wasn't a whole lot they could do about it. Shu died right before he got his Transcendence too.
Yeah, unlucky timing there. Gladiators now just going to push forward a little bit, see if they can catch anybody right here. Trying to get some eliminations. They are going to get one, so they do get the split spawn kill for some extra payload progress.
That's pretty great. You know, I think when people die in this part of the map, they should, like, drop items.
Random items.
Yeah, a chance to get some
there you go.
artifact legendary items, you know? Items with sockets.
As we've seen attempted many times recently, random item drops, great for esports.
I see what you did there. Topical. Topical and true. We need a giant sword in Overwatch. Actually, we have a giant hammer, so there you go. Roar charging in. Self-destruct. Oh, grabs two. With Void self-destruct. Charge again. Just caught off guard by that. And, you know, it just seems like any semblance of coordination is kind of falling apart in this defense here on the third point.
I think it must be very hard to stay in these games mentally as the Guangzhou charge with this
no
kind
doubt.
of loss streak.
Yeah.
Definitely gets in your head.
I couldn't imagine it not. One more fight for the Gladiators to win to try to end this one. Charge does have some ultimates to use. Happy's grab might be a difference maker. They do have the Transcendence from Shu to try to survive a little bit longer through the assault from LA. Roar just waiting for that perfect moment. Waiting for the shatter. Oh, they've got Rio really low. That's a close call there. A lot of ultimates for a charge now.
You can see that they're trying to get around to the flank right now. Does get one stun on the Shu.
And Shu down, but they couldn't follow it up because of the grab. Oppa self-destruct doesn't claim anybody, but they do push the Gladiators back. Sound barrier, though, sustaining, and Kib drops first. Void a little bit low here. Shaz's Transcendence given. There's a nice shatter from Roar. Void gets Shu with the self-destruct, and the Gladiators, throughout all of that, again, pretty much playing a perfect team fight, and they're going to finish around.
Very respectable time as well. Graviton had to be used defensively for the Guangzhou charge, and that didn't give them much options for winning that fight.
So a good round yet again for the LA Gladiators. Guangzhou charge tries their luck when we come back.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Galaxy Coffee. Drink the universe.
Well, Gladiators owning the universe right now. Guangzhou Charge, only 5 eliminations on that defense compared to 20 for the Gladiators. They were never able to eliminate Void or Biggoose on that defense.
I'm trying to think of what other Protoss-related coffee might actually be better. I don't know.
Protoss don't even have mouths. How are they drinking that coffee?
That is a great question. That's the real question right there, man. How do they imbibe anything? Maybe they just absorb it. Maybe they just hold it up and it kind of just gets it's like a sponge, you know?
Maybe they have a mouth somewhere else.
One can only
speculate as you will.
Only guess. Yep. I mean, they gotta have mouths. They talk, right? Where's that voice coming from?
You can speculate as you will, though.
Anyway, that's right.
Guangzhou Charge here, coming in with the Reinhardt 3-3 against the Winston 3-3, but they're still having trouble getting over to that point. Roar respectably close to a Primal Rage right now.
Yeah, Shaz, grenade loaded up. And one biotic grenade from Shaz could certainly turn the tables on the charge here. Ready for it. Does not want to get eaten by Hotba. Ooh, goes for the sleep dart on Hotba. Doesn't work out. That grenade did actually get eaten. Biggoose staying alive. You can see the plan from some of these Anas, though. You try to go for the sleep dart on the D.Va, and then you get a good free grenade into the enemy team. Roar, Primal Rage, trying to push the charge away. Buying a little bit of time anyway, but the charge is going to come back into it with a good amount of ultimates. They did get their support ultimates quicker. Oh, but the grab coming in quicker for the Gladiators, and at the end of the day, that's what's going to make the difference. In fact, Shara and Shu dropping before they had a chance to use their support ultimates. Perhaps a call coming in for the reset. Goodbye, Kib. Can't swim in all that armor. And the charge will be trying to luck again. That was a long push, though, for not really any progress on the point.
I mean, they did get a lot of healing done in the poke war for the Guangzhou Charge, so at least you could take a look right now and say, okay, a couple of support ultimates, all 3, in fact, are online for them. There's not going to be a Graviton Surge here, so Guangzhou can sort of just rally and run in and out-sustain on the point, potentially.
They do have a really good chance here.
Yeah, they have a very good chance.
Yeah. Starting out with the rally, Gladiators will respond in kind.
Yeah, but they have to give up a tick while it sort of fades away.
Yeah. Roar with the Primal Rage, though. He could start to split people up, and they could divide and conquer on his Guangzhou team. Rio drops the Shatter, drops Roar with the Fire Strike afterwards, and now, despite the sound barrier from LA, it's looking pretty good for the charge.
That's right. Decay here is having to throw himself in. It was going to be really hard. But again, Guangzhou, they have these moments.
They do.
They only use the rally and the shatter. Like, this is a good use of their ult economy by really paying attention and holding on to the sound barrier and the transcendence, understanding that they weren't going to need them.
Yeah. Well, pushing forward. Do not need additional pylons because that one is huge. I think that's supposed to be like actual real size of a real pylon, though, in the real world of StarCraft. Guangzhou Charger put themselves in a good position to get a lot of distance on this payload here. Decay with another grav already, though.
Yeah, still, Guangzhou has plenty of survivability through a Graviton Surge. Gladiators have to find some creative ways to win these next couple of fights while they recover in ult economy.
There's not been a problem in the past. Oh, Chara. Decay has just had Chara's number all night. You really have to be careful going anywhere near him. There's the grabs coming out for the charge. Self-destruct comes in. Oh, wow, Void got 2. He got Hotba and Happy with that self-destruct. Roar following up with the kill onto Rio. And, sometimes that's the creativity you need and just getting a couple good self-destruct kills.
Yeah, and sometimes you can be too conservative, too, not using the sound barrier. And you charge figuring that it would be better just to hold on to it for this next engagement, but they're going to have to deal with Gladiators here, trying to play this choke point very close.
I want to go back and watch, because it has been Void getting a lot of good self-destruct kills, just kind of on his own. Oh, Charge in a lot of trouble now. Taking so much damage. Gladiators just running all over them, and Charge just, saves the ultimates. Don't decide to use anything.
Yeah, it's a great value with the rally there from the Gladiators. Probably Charge didn't expect them to be playing that far forward. Probably should have. Roar here. He's bumpering.
My hammer is bigger than this hammer.
He's bumpering Are they going to realize he's not there? Yes, they do.
Uh-oh. Run, Roar. Back up like your life depends on... Oh, you're dead. I'll charge.
I mean, that was all the Gladiators really had to use right there.
They had to go for something.
They had to go for something. And I think the logic is, if you get it, you get a nice delay right there. If you don't get it, you're going to get so close to 3 other ultimates on the next fight, and you have that respawn advantage, that it's not really a big deal. Because if it works, then you're basically running out the rest of the clock with just an ult and then a nice ulted bank on the next fight.
You still have the Shatter, so...
Yeah, and you still have time for 2 fights left, as long as you can test the payload.
High ground getting contested for the moment here. They do get the shield bash onto Rio, who jumps down to reconnect with the rest of his team. Happy with the grab now. Gladiators has built up quite a few ultimates. Roar. Oh, he goes for it! Tries to go for the stylish Shatter,
doesn't
but
work.
nothing doing. Gets kept alive by the sound barrier, though, luckily for him. Guangzhou charge, though, can respawn with some aggression of their own. Decay stunned by the Shatter. Doesn't get to use the grab. Roar knocked down as he charges into Rio. At the same time, there's the grab now for charge. Void responding with the self-destruct. A few kills dropping here. Void dies before he can get back into his mech. Guangzhou charge, though.
Yeah, right now, Gladiators just need to be patient, but Happy is going to take out Decay, and that means Charge are going to get this point.
Yeah, they should. But I think the Gladiators are pretty pleased with the amount of time they've been able to run off the time bank, despite Charge taking it. But this last point on Blizzard World isn't as difficult as some of the points he is on some of the other escort maps sometimes.
They're trying to pick up the split spawns right now.
Yeah.
But they're not going to, and instead they do feed Decay some Zarya energy as a result of just trying to pop through those bubbles. So they can't quite get there. Gladiators did manage to punish the split spawn. Charge not so lucky.
Gladiators getting aggressive now. Ooh, hydration. Went for the shield bash. Got really low, though. Gotta be careful. Here we go. Rally now. As the Gladiators move in. Nice shatter by Rio. Hotfoot down already, though. He gets a charge on the hydration, but Guangzhou lost somebody. Biggoose with the double boop. That's what Biggoose does, man. He finds those angles, and I gotta say, Guangzhou charge making it a little bit easy for him there. Lining up right by the cliff. Let's watch that one again. From Biggoose perspective. Gets around him on the wall.
Ooh, during the ult, too.
Beautiful. Nearly 3 there, actually.
That's just fantastic.
Yeah.
But really dangerous position for the Guangzhou charge to be in. You'd have to think right there.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you're in ulting Zenyatta.
When you walk to the right, and that part of the point right there, there's not much between you and Oblivion, as we saw.
Yeah, problem is because the tanks were already over there. It's like, if he already cast Trance, if he doesn't do that, then they lose anyway, so.
Sure, yeah. Whoa! Boyd with the 3K self-destruct. Sound barrier dropped by Biggoose, but they didn't even need it there, man. That was another great grab from Boyd, and now we're under 10 seconds. Hotba trying to delay as long as he can, but that self-destruct gonna get blocked here, and I don't know if anyone can get back to the point. Shaz Shu tries to get there with the Transcendence, but that's the end of the attack run. It's the end of the map.
Yep, that's it. And that's the end of the match with the Gladiators.
One more map to
3-0. Yeah, we do have the map to go, but big win here for Los Angeles.
Yeah, Gladiators just kind of making it look easy here. We'll see if the Charge can at least take a map when we come back.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Biggoose. The goose is loose. That's right, getting the boops at the end of that last map. And the LA Gladiators already getting the win 3-0 despite one more map to be played. But a good day for a lot of these players here.
I mean, yeah, it's great to see Biggoose this season. We always do. He's a great Lucio player, but we didn't get to see much of it in 2018 because of the predominance of the Mercy meta throughout the season.
Right.
And so, you know, he was a serviceable Mercy, but he really is a very good Lucio, and it's fun to see him be able to play it so much more this season.
Yeah. Such a fun hero to watch, and a fun player to watch on that fun hero. So we're going to Gibraltar for our final map, our escort map of the series. It's going to be Gladiators on the attack yet again, and we'll see what Charge have in mind. Looks like it could be more fairly standard stuff. The defense, the Winston 3-3, Kib swapping to that Brigida.
Yeah, Kib been in for the whole match so far, too. We haven't seen any substitutions, so Guangzhou, you know, this might be part of their way to stabilize the team a little bit in the short term, right? Sometimes it's necessary, I think, especially in Overwatch, to take a step back and just, like, lock your roster for a little bit so that you can facilitate good communication and teamwork before you start swapping everybody in and out every which way.
True. Here we go. Gladiators seeing if they can get a 4-0, and you know, as we said many times, that map differential does come in handy, and any 4-0 you can take, you really should.
I mean, and this is dangerous, I think, too, for the Charge, because this would be their 24th consecutive map loss, which is putting them in danger of all-time map loss streak.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if this map goes over to the Gladiators, come the Charge's next game, we're going to have some conversations about whether or not they're going to, unfortunately, break that record.
Well, that's the thing. Aggression now coming in for the Gladiators. Knocking Charge off the high ground, trying to displace him, but the Charge not moving quite yet. Good amount of damage on Decay there, but it's going to be a rotation over to Server for the Gladiators. As the payload still waiting in the car wash, hydration down, but they do take Rio with them. And without that main tank, the Gladiators can just hop right back on the payload and keep pushing.
You know, that's not the trade you want to make, obviously. Especially the Zarya's already charged up there. If you try and go into the tank, any of your lower HP characters going to have a rough time. Do have Rio back now, though, and that prompts the Gladiators.
Yep.
Fall back for the time being while they collect the rest of their team.
Shaz just doing a good job of laying down that damage from the back lines. Taking some healing, taking some pressure now from Rio. Gets a little bit low, roared down, so the Charge not done yet. Hot below health as well, but again, the main tank down for Gladiators now, and the Charge has a chance. They're using some ultimates, though, to do it. Primal Rage was used, Rally as well.
Gladiators really committing to this.
No kidding, despite being down their Winston, they're throwing everything they've got at it, but I don't think this is going to work out. Not this fight.
Yeah, Decay focused down inside the Graviton Surge in spite of that Transcendence being there, cut off from the healing, looks like, and now the Gladiators have to go all the way back to spawn. 2 minutes remaining.
And the Gladiators still with a good amount of ultimates to use, but Charge was able to win that fight, you know, without having to give up much themselves, too. And they do have the Transcendence, where Shaz decided to use his at the end.
Yeah, and even if you combo with the self-destruct, there's still the sound barrier there, too. So Guangzhou has absolutely everything they need to survive through this.
That they do. How long can they hold on? There's a grab. They're going to actually just trap Kib in that one. Sound barrier used. It couldn't save Kib, though. Rio down to the self-destruct. Void catches him. That is tragic for the Charge.
Decay has made a lot of really good decisions about grabs in this series.
Sure.
Those solo grabs are impactful when you can use the Winston bubble to cut off line of sight, to cut off healing coming in, and you just get that immediate advantage. So the positional punishing from Decay has been awesome so far tonight.
Oh, yeah. Knowing when to solo grab is so important. Kib down again. And Rio with another Primal Rage that he ends up just kind of using to back off with.
Yeah, that's definitely a great stall mechanic. Primal Rage, so strong at the end of point B. If you have those faster respawns just to make sure you can survive long enough for your team to get back, that's not going to be on the table now.
Yep, here we go. Rally used by Gladiators to get aggressive. Happy gets dove on. They're going to collapse and finish him off pretty easily. Rio in a lot of trouble. He's not going to make it out. And it is just a shambles of a defense for Charge at this point.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Come in with Rally, maybe? Going to be super hard to contest the payload with just a rally. Rio now moves over to the Reinhardt. Are they even going to come in on this?
I think if you're
just going to knock him away.
Yep, just going to hold him at the door, and they're going to have to rotate down to the lower area.
God,
He's right there, too.
Roar's everywhere, clogging your choke points.
He is indeed. They didn't get any kills, though, so Charge do get a little bit of purchase on the payload.
Yeah, they had to rally, though, and use transits to get through the doors.
Yeah, that's rough. All right, now the Gladiators re-engage, now that the support ultimates are starting to wear away.
They have trance still, too.
Oh, they're going to have to grab again as well.
Yes, they are.
Yep, there it is. Grab thrown in.
Why not?
The Diva wasn't there. Yeah, why not indeed? Shoot Kim everybody down, and I think if I'm Charged, I'm considering getting on that rocket ship myself and flying up the map. Time to make an escape, I think.
Go hang out with the Protoss.
That's right, yeah.
Figure out where their mouths are.
I don't know about that. Give your life for ire, perhaps. That's right. Build some pylons. They always seem to need more. Well, it's rough. The Guangzhou charge. Gladiators just kind of cruising through this map so far.
Does seem quite casual for the Gladiators. Coming in right now, Roar once again with a Primal Rage.
Yep, has another one. Ooh, Void doesn't get anything that time. Roar knocked down by the Earth Shatter. Rio, though, taken out anyway. Decay right there to follow up. Protect his main tank by eliminating the threats.
I mean, this just has a whiff of desperation about it at this point for the
Sure
charge.
Does. Yeah, pretty much. Ah, well. Shu comes in with the Transcendence. Just kind of runs across. It's a Zenyatta version of Streaking, I suppose. Biggoose drops a sound barrier, and that should be about that. Yep, Gladiators finishing it off here on the attack on Gibraltar. And what can you say? It's not over yet, but it's looking over, isn't it?
Yep. I mean, again, Charge already with another loss here, so I imagine their spirits are not at an all-time high.
Yeah.
And Gladiators still fighting for every map they can.
You know, and like we talked about, the real question is going to be next week for the Guangzhou Charge. You know, we've been able to kind of give them the excuse of, hey, it's been a really hard set of matches, and it has. That's objectively true. But, you know, if they still end up looking like this next week, then you have to ask serious questions about the trajectory of this team.
Yeah. I think you do. I think that now we sort of already have to ask some questions when it comes to that Paris Eternal match, where you would have thought they would have at least been able to take a map. That didn't happen. Could be an aberration, though.
Well, they seemed really unprepared for Paris, you know?
Well,
they seemed really surprised by a lot of the DPS looks Paris threw at them.
Yeah. To be fair, they did have to play Paris first with their new players, and there's not a lot of ways they could have prepared for that. You know, Paris came out with some unusual looks like Shadowburn on the Brigida that you would not have, I think nobody would have expected. So there is some wiggle room there, you have to say, for the charge. The research that they could have done would not have been accurate based on what Paris was playing in that match.
I mean, I think the biggest issue overall is that they just haven't won any maps. Like, losing all these matches against these good teams is okay, but they haven't won a map. And that's where it does get really worrying.
Right, but as Sideshow said at halftime, like, if you just looked at the scoreline, it wouldn't have showed, for example, that Lijiang Tower was really close.
True enough.
So
that was true. The first map was close today between Charge and Gladiators. Quick little Symmetra teleporter to get them over to the high ground on the bridge.
Yep. Just going to swap off back to the Zenyatta, wait for Shu to rejoin his teammates. You can push through, try and take off some of this high ground.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gotta be careful with your tanks right there.
And that's why. That is why. Happy is down right off the bat. Couldn't keep him alive in that hallway. And Gladiators just taking him right to the spawn doors. Punch and paint at the same time. My fists put logos on the wall. It's amazing.
So regaining the high ground now are the Gladiators. Guangzhou look for another opportunity here. Happy just very low on ultimate charge right now.
Oh, yeah.
Zarya, that is not a good sign.
I mean, Decay builds Graviton Surges really quickly anyway, and if you're the opposing Zarya, you die early, you're going to be way behind. As you can see, Decay, another kill onto Happy. It is just brutal at this point.
Yeah, it absolutely is. If you look at Decay on this map, he's averaging 1 minute 38 seconds per ultimate. Meanwhile, Happy at 1 minute 59, so 21-second differential in average ult time earned. That is pretty vast.
Yeah, that's not even taking into account really the charge that Decay usually has on the Zarya, rather, the energy built up with which to do much damage. He's really good at landing those right clicks too. Gets so much extra ult meter just by doing that. Staying on the payload now. Here we go, rally from LA as they get ready to repel the charge, but the charge just decided to wait it out. That said, there's a grab now for Decay. Rally now for the charge as they come in, giving the team that extra armor. There's a sound barrier for the Gladiators. They run in. They can't save hydration, though. It's a 6v5 in favor of charge this time. They've got a chance to push the payload. The Gladiators backing away. Ooh, are they? Maybe they're going in on this one anyway. Void with that self-destruct. Ooh, it gets Chaz down during the process of the fight. Decay caught by Hotbuzz. Self-destruct, so a chance here.
Yep.
For the charge to take point A.
Definitely a chance. That's going to cause a retreat, but you know what? Oh, Biggoose not going to spawn by the time this payload hits. However, Decay does. So 5 players here still in the shuttle phase for the Gladiators. They will be able to most likely not get staggered here. We'll see.
It's a little bit rough, man. They don't have a ton of healing to bring those tanks back up.
And do just barely avoid it. Now they can retake the high ground. So that's a good sign for the Gladiators, though.
Yeah.
No punishment.
All right, here we go. Chaz with the Transcendence. Gladiators coming in now. They're going to use the Transcendence to engage. That's a bold move, as Happy does have the grab, but look at all the pressure onto Shu.
I mean, Gladiators are doing a fantastic job of just isolating targets in this series. So they'll go ahead and use ultimates in unorthodox ways. Now, normally you wouldn't use the trance there, but by using the trance, you prevent them from using the grab while your teammate is running through that doorway to try and take out one of the supports.
Well, you're also like thoroughly in their heads at that point too, and when you make moves like that, you just make them fear everything.
Yeah.
Every time they see
confusing.
you, they're like, I don't know if these guys are going to come at me or not, you know, and it really does kind of break up whatever sort of coordination you had going. That said, charge back on the payload again, trying to push it. 2:30 left in the time bank, so a good amount of time to finish off point B. Here we go, rally. Again from the Gladiators to get aggressive. They put the charge down that little hallway, but they lose Chaz. Charge with the 6v5 now. They've got the Gladiators kind of pinned down in there. Primal Rage. Oh, Roar gets the kill into Chara, actually. Gets 2. Finished off Shu as well. And Decay roasting people. What in the world? I have never seen a fight down in the spawn room like that before. That was nuts.
Rarely do people choose to fight in the spawn room barracks, but
I mean, Charge like allowed themselves to be pushed back in there, and then they're like, I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me.
Well, Charge coming back in at least with a nice big ult bank.
Sure.
After taking the loss inside the spawn room. They're going to try and solo grab Roar, and it is going to work.
They do get that. They also get the self-destruct on a Void as well. Hop having to use his, presumably to re-mech.
Ooh, that ended up as not so good of a series of ultimates for the Gladiators.
Yeah, but then Rio dies to Biggoose, and now the sound barrier comes in from Gladiators. They just don't have a lot of people left to defend with, though. That was a interesting sound barrier, we'll say. Decay is down as well. Nobody there to save Roar as well. He's going to back off.
Yeah. A few sloppy decisions in those last 2 fights by both teams. Decay going to give up all of that Zarya energy, and he will be returning quite quickly with another Graviton Surge. Only a minute remaining now. As Gladiators prepare themselves for another shot at this B defense.
Yep, one last chance here to defend at B. Primal Rage is going to be the ultimate. They're going to have a grab soon, too. There we go. Primal Rage going to dive right into the back lines here of Guangzhou Charge, scattering a few members of them. But Charge falls back pretty well. They don't let anybody get isolated. So they don't let Roar get too much besides time out of that one. But when you're under 30 seconds, time is pretty much all that counts. He's going to jump right back there again anyway. Oh, wow. They nearly got Kib there, too. Decay's grab actually gets eaten by Hotba, so that's something.
Grab
for
going
the
to be coming
Gladiators.
online for Happy.
That's right. They're going to have a chance here. Happy drops the grab, gets a good amount of Gladiators caught up in it. Then it's a self-destruct. Biggoose kills Happy, but more people dropping on the Gladiator side.
Question is, can they live? Decay is now back. Void has a self-destruct, so a way to reback. He's buying time,
Oh, he
and he
got
gets
Shu.
Shu as well.
A chance with the sound barrier now for the Gladiators to come back and actually win this fight. Hoppa down, and Roar has yet another Primal Rage, juggling Kib to death. And despite being a bit short-handed when that fight began, it looks like they're going to turn it around and actually end the map, end the series right here as soon as overtime expires. Chara, sound barriers himself. That's all there is to it. A 4-0 for the LA Gladiators over the Guangzhou Charge.
And the Gladiators just keep on rolling, recovering from a tough start to stage 1. Now they have their sights set on those stage 2 playoffs and entering the conversation of our elite teams here in the Overwatch League.
I think that's definitely a conversation that can be had in the coming weeks here. They are looking so strong across the board. Big plays from pretty much every member of that team today.
Yeah, Void not even dying there on Gibraltar, either attack or defense.
Wow.
Putting up some good numbers today, having quite a few good self-destructs as well.
And Decay just putting on a clinic as far as Zarya play goes too.
Really like Gladiators' decision-making. They seem very sharp in the match.
Well, they seem to know how to press their advantages too.
Yes.
You know, they know how to play the psychological game as well. And like you were talking about earlier, use ults in some of those short-handed situations to try to catch your opponent off guard when they're reeling already. Well, Danny, standing by with Roar to chat about that match. Let's see what he's got to say.
Thank you guys very much. What is up, everybody? I am here with Roar from LA Gladiators. Everyone make some noise. Great job today. 4-0 clean win for you guys. Now, both LA Gladiators and the Guangzhou Charge are an international team, but LA Gladiators seems to have more success. What do you think the reason is? 글래디와 또 이제 광저우 팀 둘 다 좀 다국적 팀이긴 하지만 또 글래디가 조금 더 기세가 좀 더 좋은 것 같아요. 그에 대한 이유 뭐라고 생각하시나요?
저희 코치진들과 한국인 코치진 분들이 저희 한국인과 영어권 선수들이 되게 소통을 잘할 수 있게 도움을 많이 준 것 같아요.
I feel like I would have to say the answer is the coaches. Coaches really meld all of our players, whether they're Korean or English or American players. So they're the bridge that kind of allows us to better perform on stage. And also talking about, sort of coaches and communication, Biggoose, your teammate, mentioned in Watchpoint that he was learning Korean. Do you feel like that has helped Gladiators at all? 좀 빅구스 선수가 한국말을 배우고 있다고 배우는 중이라고 하셨는데 좀 그게 글래디 팀에게 좀 도움이 된다고 생각하시나요?
아직 대화하는 건 미숙하지만 되게 그렇게 한국어를 읽으려고 하고 배우려고 하는 게 팀 분위기에 되게 도움이 되는 것 같아요.
Although his Korean's not at that level of communication, but he is really trying hard, so it kind of makes us feel good and brings up the vibe for the LA Gladiators. One last question for you. I know you're learning English as well. 영어 지금 배우시고 계시죠? Simple question. Your English versus Biggoose Korean. Who's better? 3, 2, 1.
Me.
There you have it. Back to you guys, casters.
Thank you, Danny. And don't feel bad, Biggoose. Korean's a very difficult language, as Monty and I know. So keep up with it, man. You'll do fine. But wow, what a great series between Gladiators and Guangzhou for the Gladiators. Anyway, sorry, Guangzhou. But we'll see. Again, Gladiators obviously looking like a great team. Guangzhou now through that gauntlet. They've played a ton of really good teams. Now they should have some quote-unquote easier matches coming out, so we'll see how they do. Yeah. Let's talk about our player of the match in the meantime. By Omen, by HP, it is going to be none other than Decay.
I really love the way Decay played today. I think.
Oh, really? You rhyming master?
I'm rhyming, and Decay was just amazing. Like,
yeah.
You look at a lot of the decision making, whether it was him or his teammates making these calls, but a lot of these, like you see there, maybe not getting the biggest amount of targets in a Graviton Surge, but identifying when someone was out of position and then punishing them for it. It got the Gladiators a lot of free objective time, basically as a result, because they didn't have to commit as heavily, or they set the charge back to reset